In this video, I'll show you how Microsoft Project behaves when you cancel a task by setting it to inactive status. If you have Microsoft Project Professional, you can cancel unneeded tasks by making them inactive. But when you do so, Microsoft Project makes some assumptions about the behavior of predecessors and successors for those canceled tasks. In this video, I'll show you how Microsoft Project behaves, so let's get started. When you cancel an unneeded task in Microsoft Project using the Inactivate task feature, the software has to make some assumptions about the schedule of the predecessor and successor tasks to the canceled task. Most of the time, I think you will agree those assumptions are correct. But if you stay with me to the end of the video, I'll show you a couple techniques that you can use if you don't like those assumptions. All right, so let's get started. I want to cancel the task second test, but please notice it has a finish to start dependency relationship with its predecessor first task. Now let's go ahead and cancel the task. Notice that Microsoft Project assumes that you want a finish to start dependency between the predecessor and the successor to the canceled task. I would say that's pretty reasonable. Now let's back it up and change things out a bit. Now I'm going to change the dependency between first test and second test to start to start. Again, let's go ahead and cancel second test. Notice that Microsoft Project assumes that we want a start to start relationship between the predecessor and the successor to the canceled task. Again, I'd say that's pretty reasonable. Now let's change it up one more time and let's make this finish to finish between first test and second task. Again, I'll cancel second test. And notice once again, Microsoft Project assumes that I want a finish to start dependency between the predecessor and the successor to the canceled task. Once again, I would agree with that assumption. Now let's make it even more interesting. Let's change the dependency relationship to start to finish. And once again, I'll go ahead and cancel second test. And notice Microsoft Project assumes that what I want is a start to start dependency relationship between first test and implement. Once again, I would say that's a pretty reasonable assumption. So now let's talk about what should you do if you don't like the assumptions that Microsoft Project makes about scheduling the predecessor and successor tasks to the canceled task. I'll show you a couple of options. First of all, let me go ahead and set the predecessor relationship back to start between first test and second task. And then I'm going to cancel the task. Well, at this point, I don't like the assumption. I don't want first test and implement to have an assumed start to start dependency relationship. What I would like is finish to start. So here's what I can do. I can select first test, hold down the control key and select the implement task. Then I can go ahead and link them using any dependency I want. In this case, that would be finish to start. Now that's one option. Another option is to set the dependency relationship you want on the predecessor and successor to the canceled task before you cancel the task. This is actually a best practice recommendation from my business colleague, Tony Proctor. Here's what Tony recommends you do. Before I cancel second test, I'll select first test, hold down Control and select Implement. Then I'll go ahead and link them the way I want. Then I'll select second test, cancel the task, and the dependency relationship is enforced the way I want it. Using either of these methods, I think you can successfully use the Inactivate Tasks feature in Microsoft Project Professional. Hey, thanks for watching my YouTube video. Who knew that is how Microsoft Project behaves when you set a task to inactive status? If you like how I'm teaching you about using Microsoft Project, you might want to consider hiring me to train the project managers and schedulers in your organization to use Microsoft Project. If you're interested in that, please leave a comment in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you right away. And as always, I'll see you in my next video.